baby.
NDAA, why was it so important to have those two, the amendment banning gender-affirming care for TRICARE and the one on sports?
Yeah, we need to be getting our troops ready, not chopping their dicks off. That's it.
Hell yeah, that was Nancy Mace, congresswoman. I mean, who knows anymore? She's bizarrely obsessed with gender. From South Carolina, saying nobody in the military has to get their dicks chopped off anymore. I'm so glad we are systemically tackling this issue, because it was almost touch and go when I was in the military.
It's the number one thing that all military spouses and families are worried about right now as we send 50,000 troops to West Asia to get slaughtered. Yeah. Gender.
Yeah. And dicks. Pete Hegseth is like really wanting to check every soldier's testosterone levels. Okay.
Yeah, he's actually going to be giving free erection exams for every soldier, just to ensure that they have a proper erection himself, personally.
Yeah.
So.
How can you find, fix, and destroy the enemy without a properly, I don't know,
good old cockfeel? That's all I guess.
Okay, yeah. Oh, God damn it! I was about to say war boner.
Friday, bro. It's
Friday,
bro.
Anyways, don't worry. Okay, guys, don't worry that this seems like it's gonna be a bro show. But it's not, okay? Because we are joined by an excellent guest, okay? Some of you may follow her. We've mentioned and brought up her work on this channel before. We are joined by Nour Hadidi, a comedian, leftist comedian, writer, coming to us from Toronto. She is the founder of Comedians for Palestine. Links in the description. It's basically comedians calling for an end to genocide and for a free Palestine, doing Gaza fundraisers and comedy shows. Thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me. I'm such a big fan. I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah, so we got a lot of...
You're going to make us blush.
Yeah. Stop. Okay, so basically we got a lot of... I mean, we say this every Friday, but a lot of dumb shit happened this week, and I really don't even know where to get to start with it. Just real quick, everybody, if you want to follow Nour, there's Comedians for Palestine, and that's the account. All the stand-ups.
Dude, you better hit that follow back button. You didn't follow her.
What do you mean? It says following.
No, go back. Comedians for Palestine.
Yeah, okay, fine. I'll follow.
Hit that follow button.
Wow. Thank you, Mark.
Yeah.
Mark?
Everybody hit that follow button, okay? So, before we get started, we have a lot to talk about. I tentatively want to call this episode, and we do no prep for these episodes. For the weekend, the weekday ones we do, but I just can't. I'm thinking about calling this one Fedderlibs and Bill Maher's Living Obituary. But we'll get to that here in a second. In the meantime, everybody can enjoy our new title sequence for the Friday episode. Let's go.
All nations to do everything they can to stop these terrorist killers. Now watch this drive.
I got a new strap-on harness today. It will fit my favorite dildo perfectly. I'm going to give you the blowjob of your life, then I want you inside of me. This was my ass, and I was struggling to imagine someone inside me.
All right, that's U.S. politics for you in a nutshell. Again, the Macarena was played famously at the 1996 DNC convention, where Hillary Clinton really showed that she was a lizard person, or at least some sort of human hybrid.
To be followed up with the legacy, Little John played at Kamala Harris's DNC last year. I'd like to point that out.
Just bringing out the real heaters. But anyways, a lot to talk about this week. I did want to start with what I'm calling this new generation, and I did not come up with the term, but I've been hearing someone called Haley Stevens, who's running for Senate in Michigan against Abdul El Sayed, and someone called her something Fedder Stevens. But I don't know, they're all Fedderlibs, right? Because they're all really showing their true colors. And really, when I think about what it means to be a Fedderlib, it is that someone, I don't know, something happens to your brain. You had some sort of like populist policies with like prison reform, and now you're just like straight up Bill Maher. And didn't Bill Maher just get some sort of comedy prize? I haven't been following this probably as much as you
did.
have.
He got the Mark Twain Prize for American humor.
Jesus Christ. What a travesty, though.
Yeah.
Like, do y'all know who Mark Twain was?
He would have fucking hated Bill Maher.
He would have fucking whooped his ass. He would have shoved that. Yeah.
I'll remind everybody that, Mark Twain was very not an imperialist. In fact, he did a scathing response to Rudyard Kipling's The White Man's Burden poem that he made a rebuttal to my brothers living in darkness. And if there's one thing Bill Maher loves, it's really sticking it to the Browns overseas for colonial exploitation. So that was just an absolute travesty.
Bill Maher is if like herpes was a human being, That's my best description of him.
Well, he just in some ways, I guess that's true because he'll disappear from my life for a long time, and then in moments of extreme stress, he'll pop up at the most inconvenient times.
It's true. There's also no known cure for Bill Maher, so
except death,
bro.
Oh.
He's more obsessed with Islam than evangelicals are. Like, he is way more of like this Islamophobic propagator than the most extreme evangelical I've ever met. This guy it's insane.
I also love how like Ben Affleck is the one defending Muslims on his show. You know how bad things have to be for Ben Affleck to be political and stand up for Muslims, That
was actually really great. What he said, the way he clapped back at Bill Maher, I love that. It was really cathartic. Yeah. And was a guy, what's his name? Oh, fuck me. The other comedian who fucking handed Bill's ass to him when he got invited on the show.
Oh, the friggin' bald Irish guy, Bill Burr.
Bill Burr.
Yeah.
Fucked him up a new one.
Yeah.
Because Bill Burr is like he's like the working class,
I mean, it wasn't great that
Maher's
he did some shit in the Gulf, though. He did some comedy shows in the Gulf.
Yeah. No, he has his own problems. He has his own problems, but he's about as close as you can get in the mainstream comedic world that actually stands up for the working class, as bad as that is. So,
But I still hate that he went on the show, even I just think you legitimize his platform by doing that. Yeah. You give him equal weight. And I just think someone needs to shut Bill up at this point.
I mean, Bill Maher is like the epitome of the liberal that like Malcolm X warned everybody against, because like he's like a liberal values, free market economics. I hate Islam because I believe in individual freedoms. Also, this about communism.
Told JD Vance you're open, your vote is up for grabs.
Yes, my vote is in play because it can't be Trump running. So I'm not living in communist America. I mean, I know. The talking point is that, well, it's not communism, it's socialism. Okay, I've read the quotes from the DSA platform.
So far from communism, it's crazy.
From their own mouths. Don't tell me I'm not seeing what I am seeing. And DSA, again, they say things like, takeover of key industries, government. That's communism.
It's not even, okay. Well, I'm just saying it's working out pretty well for China. Okay,
so much to unpack there, dude.
I know. Like, where do you want to begin?
Where do we start with that shit? Because it's like I don't want to be dragged into defending the DSA. That's the shitty part. Is that when we get dragged into this conversation, it looks like we're defending the DSA and we're validating them as some type of like revolutionary party that's taking over, sweeping America. Anyway, I'll let Nour take this one.
Well, it's almost like, my vote is up for play. I'm going to vote for fascism that is going to take away democracy, but my vote is up for play. It's like you can't have it both ways, Bill. You can't vote for a fascist and pretend that people should care about voting. He's just full of shit. Honestly, he thinks it's like no one gives a shit about your vote, Bill. You're going to die soon. And It
doesn't matter if you're dating someone who's 36 to 39 years younger than you. You know, that's not going to keep you alive longer.
Oh, and officially they're not dating. They're just hanging out. That's what he says. And it's like, okay, yeah, I hang out. A lot of men hang out with women 40 years younger than them just as friends, right? That's normal. That's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's legit.
I mean,
okay, yeah. So basically, he is kind of one of the reasons that I wanted to talk about him and like root this episode and Bill Maher, because he's like a case study in like the bourgeois, like a petty bourgeois, like celebrity elite, you know, who like hang out in these circles with like the ultra wealthy, and they are a spokesperson and a mouthpiece in order to like run cover and protect the interests of the ruling class, while actually not being a capitalist at the same time, but hating communism. And, you know, when push comes to shove, you're going to want to maintain your wealth and, you know, carve out your little cubby of political privilege and comfort within the fascist system and hope to ride it out. Like we talked about this in an episode in a more serious context this week, but like he is the most shit lib Fedderlib I think I've ever seen.
And the thing is, liberals don't think he's a liberal, but the problem is that he is. It's just that liberals don't understand the structure that they're propping up. Like,
what do they think he is?
They think he's like a bad liberal or like a centrist, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But
so
what
he's such a good, but he's such a good mirror. He's such a good mirror for them, though. Like he's such a mirror for liberalism.
That's not how liberals see themselves. Liberals see themselves as the antidote to conservatism, as good people who are standing up for what's right. They don't understand their role in upholding imperialism domestically, you know?
Mm-hmm.
They're just like, I'm a good person. I go about my life. Like someone who is the quintessential liberal for me is Carly Kloss. She's Joshua Kushner's wife. So Jared Kushner's, she's his sister-in-law. Carly with a K, but it's okay. There you go. Yeah.
Oh, KKK Carly.
Yeah. Carly Kloss. KL. It's 2 Ks. We just need a third. Yeah. LOSS. There you go.
Carly Cross. Okay.
So her entire family, like the Kushner side, they're all Republicans, right? But she's very adamant about being a Democrat, and she's like very proud of it. And it's like, this is what liberalism is. It's thinking just because I identify as a Democrat and I'm going to vote Democrat, I'm a good person and I'm doing what's right. You know?
Ooh, pictures with Obama.
Mm.
Oh boy.
That's another thing I don't get. This Obama Presidential Center, this man drone strike children in Yemen. Like I get that he's like the most polished version of a US president that America has had. He's like quote unquote the best, but he's horrible. He by the way, he's the reason why we have the police state as it is. So I keep saying Trump, Patriot Act, Obama galvanized, strengthened, and bolstered the Patriot Act, turned ICE into a for-profit industry. Biden then expanded that, and then Trump is catching the football and taking it to the finish line. That's what it is. It's a sequence of events. Did you mean Bush Patriot Act?
Yeah.
That's what I said. What did I say?
You said Trump Patriot Act.
Sorry. Yeah. Sorry. But it's early. I got pain shooting up my back. God. So yeah, Trump Patriot. Fuck. Bush Patriot Act.
Yeah.
Fucking Obama bolstered it. So, but my point is that we would not have ICE where it is today if it wasn't for Obama expanding it into a for-profit business, or else it would just be, you know.
I don't want to hear it. No.
Exactly.
No.
They don't want to hear it. Exactly.
They literally can't. Right.
He also Barack Obama had an interview where someone asked him if like George Washington was a good person.
Yeah.
And he was like, he was a slave owner. And then he like danced his way around the answer, because you can't be a spokesperson for the empire and benefit. He benefits financially from being a former president and from, you know, representing the office that he did. So he's not going to like undo all of that by admitting that a former president owning slaves is bad.
No,
could-
no, he didn't say it was bad. He says it doesn't diminish from his greatness or something
Oh,
like that.
please. What? I can't. It's like the mental gymnastics is mind-boggling to me. I don't. What do you mean it doesn't diminish from his greatness? Like, I'm honestly like, I'm a bit speechless, to be honest with you. Like,
what Obama did was really interesting. He was a very statesman behaviored guy, very statesman, very, very, like you said, very polished, very sophisticated in how he carried himself. And what it did was it did satisfy that part of the liberal ego, where it's like it was more of like it was because liberals are all about aesthetics. And you can summarize them with aesthetics. They will be down for the most horrific shit as long as the aesthetics of it are very peaceful. They're very becoming of somebody who's put together. And that's why, and I was thinking that that's who the villain was going to be. I thought that the villain was going to look more like Obama, statesman proper. Instead, we got a 5th grader who's the villain, which was.
And you know what? It's contributing to the downfall of the U.S. empire, the fact that it's a 5-year-old and not a statesman. Because the statesman is the way they've gotten away with everything. It's that like civilized demeanor in a suit. I'm smart. I'm the good guy. We're just trying to help, We're just trying to help the brown people all over the world. And I know, but here's the thing about going back quickly to that slavery comment. Do you know that the UN recently had a vote on whether the transatlantic slave trade was the gravest crime in humanity? That's the file they're on, by the way, guys. So we're not getting to Gaza anytime soon. And 3 countries voted no. I'll let you guess which ones. We know which 2, but can you guess the 3rd?
Belgium, Portugal. I don't know.
Hold on.
Argentina.
Argentina. Yes.
I was gonna say it first. I was gonna say it.
Okay, yeah, but like shout out, we're doing a whole episode on Argentina Monday. So yeah, why all the billionaires who hate you are moving there specifically. But yes, not surprised it's Argentina. Holy shit.
Canada and the EU abstained, and then the rest of the world, all the brown countries, everyone in the global south was like, yes, this was owning other human beings was the gravest crime against humanity. I can't think of, if you actually read about things like the Haitian Revolution and how people were treated, it's hard to imagine human beings doing these things to one another. It quite actually broke my brain.
Yeah, and there's a foundational difference because like people who defend the Atlantic slave trade were like people have had slaves throughout human history. It's like, yeah, but like you're like conflating it with like ancient Greece and Rome or like Tsarist Russia, where it wasn't necessarily based on race, and you can still like accumulate wealth, become actually wealthier than your master, and then buy your freedom and stuff. And it wasn't targeted based on like a lesser subhuman species that looked like men, as Rudyard Kipling says. Again, in The White Man's Burden, half devil, half child. So yeah, crazy.
It's the I would say like the whole slavery thing. Like, it's interesting how the reality was so softened for so many decades. Like it was, when I was in school, we learned about slavery, but we didn't learn about the rape of kids. We didn't learn about the cannibalism. The goddamn cannibalism, like the shit that we're reading about in the Epstein files. We're treating it as if this is something new and horrific. This is a continuum. The Epstein story is a continuum of what has been happening for hundreds of years, and the horrific part, it hasn't stopped. It just went on in secret, and the history was softened, and so. And
it is somewhat less widespread. Obviously, we don't still have the institution of slavery, but we have a lot of echoes of it with like ICE detentions and stuff like that. But now, because we live in a different information environment as well, it's kind of like really gone towards more of like the upper echelons of the socio cultural like strata.
And I would argue,
like the elite.
I would argue that capitalism is a modern form of slavery, because if you don't go to work and you don't have a home, you can't afford to eat, and we criminalize, we give people dehumanizing labels like homeless or felon, and it like I grew up in Jordan and I moved to Canada when I was 17. And so when I compare the language we use in Jordan, Jordan's a much more communal place. We don't say he's a felon. We said, oh, he went to jail. Like, we don't treat someone's journey through life as an indictment of their character, you know? And I think the dehumanization, like, when a country is built on slavery, that dehumanization is going to be embedded in its systems. And it's the modern prison system is also a form of slavery, right? Like they barely get paid. It's targeting African Americans. It's quite heartbreaking. I didn't know about Canada, about the residential schools.
Ooh, Canada was just as like Canada was bad when it came to like Indigenous people. Like,
yes,
people only focus on the United States, but people like even like Indigenous people and like tribes were like, okay, we can't stay here. We also don't want to go to Canada because Canada is in some ways a lot worse.
Yes.
So
they found a mass grave, right? Wasn't it a few years ago they found a mass grave below a boarding school
of children?
Yeah, it's interesting. There was Sheridan, that director who always puts out like fucking propaganda for
like Yellowstone, Sicario.
But he did do 1923, which is actually a really good anti-capitalist, anti-oligarch, anti-colonial messaging, where he showed the reality of a little girl who was Native American, stripped of her identity, beat and tortured and sexually abused by the nuns, and she escaped. I was surprised that Sheridan did that, but I props to him. He had to pay back his taxes by making a Lioness, which is a pro-war, pro-CIA show. But nonetheless, it showed what happened in the boarding schools. It was complete erasure, of their culture, which in many ways is one of the most horrifying aspects of what happened to the Native Americans. It wasn't just the physical torture that they put these children through. It was the fact that the sadistic point of it was to erase the knowledge, the valuable knowledge that humanity could have benefited from to this day, that they stole from humanity, basically.
Yeah, they were cut off from their families. They weren't allowed to speak their languages. They could only speak English. They were tortured. It's just absolutely heartbreaking. And then also when you think about this way of living, you're absolutely right. Like Indigenous people, they traveled between, what is more modern day Oregon or Washington and all the way up to Canada, right? BC. And it's like migration is a human right. These borders that we have are colonial, especially at least in the Middle East, like post World War II colonial borders meant to divide people. And I just wish we all loved each other more than we loved our borders or our national identities, because we all have a lot more in common with each other than we do with our governments. But we've been propagandized from such a young age to believe that country first, because I'm from this country, it means something about me, that I'm better than someone else. And that's also another, nationalism, in my opinion, is another form of dehumanization.
Yeah. And you've done some really great work with humanizing people. Nour recently wrote a living obituary for Bill Maher. And guys, these living obituaries are really touching, because a living obituary is a written tribute or life story created and shared while the person is still alive, allowing them to hear kind words and connect with loved ones before the end. So, going to your Substack, Bill Maher, gone too late. Yeah. I mean, you make a lot of great comments. He spent 40 years explaining to women why feminism has gone too far, Muslims why the religion was uniquely bad, and progressives why they were the real problem. Has finally died. Yeah, this is the Mark Twain Prize. He is survived by his rotating panel of both sides guests who validated his centrism, his situationship with a woman 30 years his junior, and his marijuana company. Okay, well, it's the only cool thing I guess he's ever done. He was the most important voice of the left, signed the right.
That was my favorite.
Yeah.
That was my favorite.
Thank you.
Yeah. So if you guys want to check out his living obituary, and living obituaries are living documents, so I'm sure you can always update it.
That's true. It could be an ongoing living document. It doesn't have to just be static. You're right. Well, let's see what Bill's up to. If he votes for Trump, I'll update it for that.
Or JD Vance.
Oh, sorry, JD Vance. My bad.
Which is actually worse because JD Vance is smarter than Trump. And
that's bro. Thank you.
Yeah, and he's really plugged in to like Peter Thiel and all the tech oligarchs. And you said that we had a 5-year-old, and that's actually doing a lot of damage to the empire. JD Vance will not get on freaking Fox Business News 2 days ago and say this.
Are you concerned, though, the renewed operations in Iran might turn that around, or is that going to be a trend?
Well, look, we're making a lot of money. The defense companies are doing great. It's jobs. It's all jobs. I'm not doing this for jobs, but when you think of it, we make our own equipment.
We literally don't make our own equipment.
No.
We literally get all of our artillery shells, our 155 artillery shells, and all of our bombs and all of our RDX from one factory in fucking Poland.
Really?
Yeah, we don't have any sort of defense industrial capacity here with munitions here in the United States.
So the money that was flowing into Afghanistan, that was routed to Ukraine, that is now routed to Gaza, what weapons are those if it's not the artillery shells?
We sent Ukraine
the JDAMs.
JDAMs, yeah. So basically what the
JDAM.
supply chain looks like is we get all of our RDX, which is like an explosive compound, from Poland. We don't produce it. Then they're like shipped to like sometimes Turkey, sometimes other places in Europe to be put into the shells. The shells are then sent to us, and then we send them back to Europe in Ukraine.
Yeah, we stick them in their fancy housing, and then we send them back. So we stick the electronics on it. We do all the coding on each and programming of each thing, and then send it right back. So yeah, but I want to talk about JD Vance real quick because this is important. So JD Vance, they're trying to I guess frame this guy as the one who's pushing. He's the alternative to Trump. He's pushing back against the war in Iran, which is laughable. But I want to point out that JD Vance, I even posit that the war in Iran is benefiting JD Vance almost more than anybody, and I'll explain why. The collapse of, and I'll tell you why. It's really sinister. So the war in Iran has, squeezed the supply of fertilizer for small farmers, right? Mm-hmm. And it really puts the small farmers in a huge energy crisis. What does that have to do with JD Vance? Mm-hmm. Well, JD Vance, he helped found a company called Acre Trader. Acre Trader is where farms are basically, farmland is divided up and basically, what do you call it? It's indexed. It's indexed as a stock that you can buy. So when these small farms go out of business into foreclosure because of the war in Iran, guess who gets to buy up all that land without having to purchase every individual farm? They can purchase sections of the farm. So now you just turn the small farmers into a big corporate trading ground. And what that's going to do is basically shove all that farmland into the hands of very few on Wall Street. He bought in for dirt cheap in this company. And now he's going to, the dividends on this and the profit margins he's making off of Acre Trader is insane. So this war in Iran, JD Vance fucking loves it. And so do all the Democrats who are invested in this company right here. So small farmers, don't be fooled by JD Vance. So don't accept this rehabilitation of his image as some type of alternative to Trump.
Yeah. And there's also just a massive tech push just from the entire tech sector to AI and digitize the entirety of large-scale industrial farming.
Yes. It's horrifying.
So he's actually benefiting from these small farmers losing money and not being able to keep up with their livelihood because they don't have fertilizer.
Yes.
How is it allowed that a vice president of a country can actually financially benefit from his political decisions?
Oh, it's an American tradition. It's an American tradition. What do you mean? That's as American as apple pie. I mean, that's what like
my bad.
That is why you are seeing such a huge deluge of racist content on your For You page and everything else, because it's diverting the attention from these obvious things that you just pointed out. These obvious, insane things that we should be questioning before we get to any other topic, right? Before we get to any other topic. So
yes, and while all that's happening, the head of the Smithsonian, one of the biggest national museums, in the United States, was investigated by Trump-aligned Republicans, or questioned in Congress by Trump-aligned Republicans for having like woke merch. Okay, this is what we care about. This is a representative, a congressman, I forget what his freaking name is, from Texas.
Appropriate for the Smithsonian
Institute. So hard.
Oh, you know this guy?
I'm not a violent person at all, but something about him just makes me want to hit him. Like his face.
He's fucking slime. He's slime. All right, Texas represent. We already played this on a previous episode, but it's just so rad, and I want to, as someone who grew up as a white dude in Texas, address what's going on right here. Okay, Texas Representative Gill, also a Texas white dude, pressed a Smithsonian director over Latina power merchandise.
That it's appropriate for the Smithsonian Institution to sell Latina power paraphernalia.
I can't.
Hats,
I want you to look at
other things that say Latina power.
I believe that the merchandise our store sells.
I'm asking you if it's appropriate.
Tries to reflect the richness of the communities.
So your testimony is that it is appropriate?
Those are your words, sir.
I'm asking you, is it appropriate to sell Latina power paraphernalia? It's a yes or no question.
I don't have control over what is sold.
I'm asking you if it's appropriate. I didn't ask you if you have control over it. Is it appropriate?
You, sir. Yeah.
Yes or no?
Again, we strive to represent all Americans, and including
Is it
in our
appropriate? Yes or
merchandise.
no?
We strive to represent all Americans in our.
Bro, just say you're pissed that you can't sell white power hats. Okay.
Well, do you,
also, here's my thing. Growing up in Texas, similar location to where he is, also look a certain type of way. This is why I wonder, like you're freaked out by Latina power growing up around the border. Like, yeah, that's really freaking you out. This is why I'm like, are you guys? I never know if they're gay or not. Right? That's not an issue for me. Also, yeah. Go ahead.
No. Go ahead. You're on fire. You're cooking.
It was just, yeah. It's like really, that's your issue. That's absolutely embarrassing from a Texas boy position. Like, do you not like? This is why I just never know. I just never know with him. And it's either that, or he just got absolutely rejected in high school or junior high multiple times.
Yeah,
multiple times. Especially as
the way he's behaving. Do you see the way he's like? That's what I'm saying. Look at the demeanor of some of these dudes. Like, he's breathing hard, really intense. Is like, but do you think it's appropriate? Like this huffing and puffing. I'm like, something is wrong there. But these people are they're purposefully established. This
Latina woman, as he's calling it, I don't like the fact that she had the power to say no to me, and yeah, I mean, that's kind of, that's where my mind goes growing up in this like specific culture.
There's some deep issues going on with that guy. Way deep.
And also it's like, look, personality aside, he's not like the worst looking dude. And as a white guy in Texas, it's not the hardest thing to do. Okay, so like your personality just must absolutely suck, and you just must be completely unfuckable.
Well, who calls merch paraphernalia? Like what?
That's weird.
Paraphernalia, I love it.
Insidious race baiting paraphernalia.
Just wait till you see our merch.
Yeah. Oh, internet problems. Uh-oh.
She looks happy though.
Yeah, she does look very happy.
I just want to enjoy how happy she looks. In this
Yeah.
Nor, you look so happy. I want to experience the joy you are experiencing
talking
that still so badly.
Yeah, talking and not talking, discussing Latina power paraphernalia. So she's still on stage. They're gonna remove, add back to stage. Okay.
Now it's black. Go back
now
to
it's black.
I like the happy still.
I think the still's gone because I think she's got to reload the whole thing. Hang on, I'm gonna message her real quick. See what's going on.
Yeah. Let's see.
Hang on 1 second. Okay, I think she left the studio. She might try to come back in. But anyway, yes, continue. Moving on.
Come back in.
But like this is the main theme, right?
Yeah. What do you got?
This is what Republicans want to fight about. And the Democrats get all like frustrated. She says coming back in. The Democrats get all frustrated because they're like, you're not fighting these people. I mean, these Republicans are trying to do it, like but they don't do anything. They don't do anything to like fight them about it. They just have these committee hearings.
Yeah. Speaking of which, dude, let's talk about this that just happened. Dude, check this out. I just want to say I love this creator because he says what he says what I'm always thinking. And then I see his videos come across my For You page, and it's so cathartic to hear him express what I've been screaming inside of me. Check this out. It's so true.
Isn't it weird how the Democrats always give them just enough?
This is with the recent
this is Ebony Warrior Studios. He does good stuff.
Yeah. Check this out.
Isn't it weird how the Democrats always give them just enough?
Just enough votes. Rotating villain.
I'm so tired of this idea that Democrats are somehow different than Republicans. Because whenever it comes down to the wire, the nitty gritty, there will always be just enough Democrats to give them what they need. Red dookie, blue dookie, two wings of the same shitbird. And the independent. I'm an independent, but I'm going to vote with the Republicans. All of y'all can eat shit and fucking die. I swear to God. I'm so tired of this shit. I'm so tired of sounding like a broken record. I'm so tired of feeling like I'm fucking crazy. Like somebody said in my previous comments, house been on fire. And we've been out, black people especially, been running around here saying, the house is on fire, the house is on fire. Nobody wanted to listen to us. You're crazy. You don't know what you're talking about. You're creating division, blah, 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 blah. Fuck you. Okay? Fuck you. Let it burn.
Dude.
Listens. Maybe that,
hold on. Bro. That's what I've been saying. How is it they always have just enough votes? There's always that a few Democrats break from the herd and get important bill.
Well, we know why. Chuck Schumer,
rotating villain.
Well, it is the rotating villain, right? But it's also that Chuck Schumer, boom, she's back.
There
I'm
she is.
so sorry, guys.
We had a beautiful still of you, just like this. And
she's really smiling. It was very flattering.
I wanted to stare at that and just be in that happy mood the whole time.
Okay. Oh, that's so nice. I'm on two antidepressants to be this happy.
Hell yeah. I mean, that's freaking great. But so we were just talking about how Chuck Schumer actively works to like whip votes to make sure like progressive legislation doesn't pass. So what he'll do is he'll like call up a rep or like a senator and be like, oh, hey, you're not up for election in a while. How about you sit this one out and in a couple years people are going to forget how you voted on this. And he just gets like 3 people so the votes won't pass and they never fucking pass. That's why he actively whips votes so things don't pass. But hey, if we just get one more senator in there, and our favorite Michigander Senate candidate, Haley Stevens, who sees Israel in our dreams, it's going to turn this whole thing around.
to be working on our behalf. I am going to be telling the stories on our behalf. And you better believe I'm going to be doing it with a little bit of joy, a little bit of enthusiasm, a little bit of energy, and a little bit of sick it to them. Because that's the Michigan way.
Yeah.
Now, as your father
How is she not an
told you,
SNL
my
character?
name is Matt
She is.
and I am a motivational speaker. Now let's get started by letting me give you a little bit of a scenario of what my life is all about.
Living in a van down by the river. This is our politics are a caricature of itself now.
It's almost comical. It's the as a comedy writer, I'm running out of things to write, because reality is funny enough. You can't make this stuff up.
I'm like, is this an Onion article or is this a real life thing?
That's what, dude. That's part of it. It's part of like making it so that satire is even like almost like impotent at this point. Like what is it? South Park said that they are having problems writing new episodes because literally like the reality is their episodes. But I think that's the point. You make this downfall of the Empire as entertaining as possible, as unhinged, comical, cartoonish. So that that's all we're talking about.
Yeah, but okay, but I will just say, Trump comforts grieving war widow by assuring her he will never die. I mean, that's something that could absolutely happen, right?
Mike Johnson struggles to hold speaker gavel while wearing anti-masturbation.
Okay, but that's honestly not that far from the truth of Mike Johnson because he has that Covenant Eyes porn accountability app with his son. And I've mentioned this before. Yes, there's like a evangelical porn accountability app. So like you can have it like with you and your dad, so you can see if your dad's pulling up Pornhub and you get a notification and be like, "Hey Dad, I see you're about to watch some stuff. Maybe don't do that." It's a porn accountability app. So when we see something like something that like Mike Johnson has anti-masturbation mitts, how far is that from the actual like what is the difference between satire at this point? Satire is just only cranking the heat up by like 2 degrees.
Yes.
At this point.
Exactly.
Did you hear about the MAGA fan who was caught masturbating at the Trump State Fair? He was kicked out.
I was kicked out. It's true. I just want to apologize to everyone.
That was you.
That was me.
I knew it.
Yeah.
I knew it.
My bad.
Look, I know it was hot out. Everyone's getting a little carried away.
It's my First Amendment right. Okay?
I was on vacation, so she had to take over.
There you go.
No.
I mean, there
it's a free country.
There were
exactly.
Body,
someone has to teach the kids, okay?
This is how you pledge allegiance to the United States of America.
Exactly.
This is how you honor the flag. Hold the salute while doing the other thing.
Yeah, I think that's what MAGA should have been doing from the beginning.
That's why God gave us 2 hands. One to pledge allegiance and one to jerk off.
Jerk off to. That's right. It's nationalism with fetishization of nationalism.
Yeah,
you got to fetishize nationalism. Don't fucking salute it. That's inappropriate. That's disrespectful. Honestly, when you just say the Pledge of Allegiance, if you're not masturbating to that fucking flag, are you even an American? That's
not.
This is my question for Mike Johnson. Like, how can he actually pledge allegiance to the flag with anti-masturbation mitts?
You can't.
No, you absolutely cannot. But while all of this has been going on in the backfield, and we saw this like race baiting and culture war bullshit about Latina power hats in the Senate and a bunch of other stuff like was Mickey Mouse racist, minstrelsy is fucking racist. That's where blackface comes from. But anyways, have you guys been following the saga of the Christopher Nolan movie where everyone's freaking out about there being black people?
You got to explain this one to me because I do not get what's going on. I never saw the movie. I don't know anything about it.
Okay.
Well, you can't. It's sold out everywhere. People are
Really?
buying tickets and filling this. Yeah, they're filling the cinema. So wait, what's the controversy? Because I have no idea what you're about to say.
Oh, I exist on like online nerd circles.
Yeah.
So
I'm not on
everybody, all these white dudes who think they're nerds, kind of like really spiritually Elon Musk adjacent, basically are freaking out that Helen of Troy is black, which she could have been. You know, the Greeks didn't have any sort of concept with race. There's actually like black, like Ethiopian aristocratic people throughout, you know, Greek city-states and stuff like that. So whatever. But yeah, they had a meltdown because Helen of Troy was black. They started calling her Helen of Detroit. And then Elliot Page, people thought like he was going to like play Achilles. And I'm like, Achilles isn't even in the motherfucking Odyssey. What are we talking about? And so there was these massive comparisons between Troy, which had like Brad Pitt and Eric Bana back in the day, and they're being like, see, this is what a real Trojan movie looks like. The movie Troy's not really even that good. It just has a lot of good actors like Peter O'Toole, but
got some good quotes.
Yeah, got some good quotes. I also love Sean Bean. I thought he was a good Odysseus. But it was about the Iliad, also not about the Odyssey. Two different poems, but here, and they don't care about that. So this account I follow, I just discovered him, posted this video.
Nolan trying to say.
All right, so yes, this is why is the outrage so selective, and I cannot stress how big the outrage online has been. Elon Musk has been posting about it relentlessly.
What is Christopher Nolan trying to say casting Zendaya as a Greek woman? Or potentially casting Lupita Nyong'o as Helen of Troy?
Okay, first of all, Zendaya is not a Greek woman. She is Athena, a god. Okay, anyways.
Are you saying the Greek people aren't white?
You know what's really telling about white supremacists? Is that no one is complaining that Matt Damon and Tom Holland, two very obviously white Western Europeans, are playing ethnic Greeks. That is fucking the problem with white supremacy on display, is because it takes every group that could be ostensibly white and homogenizes them and erases their ethnic identity. That fucking loser is just complaining because he doesn't want black people in movies.
It's true.
And not a single person who's made a comment on this has read either the Iliad or the Odyssey or knows anything about Greek literature and norms.
Dude, I'm glad you played that video, because that dude, that white supremacist guy, he's part of my case studies that I'm doing on Gen Z white supremacist movement that's happening.
Oh, he's a
online.
Gen
That's
Z
obviously
white. Okay.
Yes, no. This guy, I want to tell you about this dude. This dude that you just played, I don't know his name, but what he does is he co-opted to the anti-Israel, Groyper type of thing, and he started bringing on a lot of Christians who are anti-Israel. But then he starts pushing this white nationalism, and he's an op. I can tell you right now, he's a highly invested in op. And what he's trying to do is steer the growing anti-Israel sentiment, the growing anti-Zionist sentiment, and then pushing this white replacement shit, right? And he is part of this Gen Z movement, which I'm going to call the Zepstein Army. I'm going to do a whole episode on it. It is literally a new funded op, because nobody's tuning into boomer fucking Fox News and CNN anymore. So their new strategy is paying these influencers to steer young white men down this white supremacist, white nationalist road. And it's introducing pseudo-intellectualism, which sounds actually deep to your fucking dumbass Zoomer who's just jerking off all day to fucking, Hello Kitty porn or whatever.
I believe they call it gooning, sir.
Gooning, sir. Sorry. It's quite the youngins are adopting new nomenclature.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, but that's what's going on. FYI, heads up. So if you're a parent and you have a Gen Z child, start educating them on this new Zepstein Army coming out.
Okay, what a Zepstein Army?
Wow, that's
what I'm calling
Mark.
it. I'm calling it that. I'm introducing it. I came up with the Epstein class. I'm pushing in a new term in the culture. Zepstein Army, the Gen Z Epstein psyops to divide the working class along race and all kinds of shit, so that we don't collapse in unification. We collapse in division. That's my new theory. I do a whole episode on it. Anyways.
Don't these people get tired of all they do is chase money or spend money on division? It's like, wouldn't you rather love yourself and do something productive with your life? Wouldn't you rather be a good person? I just don't understand the levels of evil.
Look, I mean, I really like who I am as an individual, but that comes at the price of me still renting my residence, you know? If I wanted to like hate myself and eventually buy a house, I could. Okay, I absolutely fucking could.
So it's
Watch
a trade-off.
me.
It's a
Yeah,
trade-off between loving yourself and hating your apartment. It's what are the I see. Okay. Yeah.
Welcome to left wing podcasting.
Well, Nour, you ask a great, like the topic you're diving into gets really deep, because it's like, how do you, once you have enough money, you have billions of dollars. Well, I mean, even if you're a selfish motherfucker, even if you're greedy, wouldn't you think that maybe investing in your soul will be it'll be worth the money? Like, you can just pause and you can just enjoy life. And that goes to like, well, I think the ruling class figured that out. I think they know that obviously there's going to be some millionaires and billionaires who are going to want to retire from being an evil billionaire. So what they do is they introduce a fraternized culture that does introduce very dark, sadistic, evil shit to keep them in the brotherhood. And it detaches it creates a disassociation between morals and ethics. And I think that's very mechanical and very business-like and intentional. I don't think it's like some esoteric thing that they're doing for a spiritual reason. I think that the esotericism involved in the ruling class is part of the mechanics of the arrangement, so that one billionaire doesn't just go off and starts, building up housing for the homeless and starts donating to humanitarian causes and actually fucking up the ruling class's agenda. They have to keep them on a certain fraternity, a dark fraternity that uses sadism as the cohesion of brotherhood. So anyways, whole nother episode, but you asked a good question.
It's like the omerta from The Mob. You guys are familiar with that?
Oh yeah. I've watched The Sopranos.
Yeah. Oh, okay, cool. You know, it's the Southern Italian code of silence, or like a strict rule against cooperating with legal authorities or outsiders. You know.
Yeah.
So.
But way darker than that. The mob,
way worse.
They were Boy Scouts compared to the ruling class.
You know, at least this is going to sound crazy, but at least the mob is honest about what they do. At least the mob knows what they do. They racketeer, they make money out of killing, and this is who we are. Whereas these billionaires and millionaires and politicians, it's like they put their suits on and they pretend to be good people, but they're like bankrupting small farmers and making money off of it, you know? It's just, and I think Gaza was like the kind of like the pulling of the curtains for so many people around the world, including myself, where it was like, oh, the world that we were told about doesn't really exist. It's just a fiction of our imagination. The reality is that money just runs everything. That's anything that you look at that you wonder, why is this happening? It just goes back to money. There's no international law. It's just money. Who can make the most money out of making bombs, you know? How can we line our pockets?
But do not focus on that, okay? Because Elon Musk says before this year ends, Grok Imagine will make a full-length movie of the Odyssey that is historically accurate and true to the art of Homer. Okay? Don't listen to any of the shit Mark and Nour just said. Okay? That's what matters. We need a historically accurate myth.
Just the delusion that his AI is going to make a film better than Christopher Nolan's, like a man who is at the height of his game, who employs the top creatives from the film industry in the world. You think your shitty AI is going to make a movie just as good? Like the level of delusion. No one says no to this man.
Is it delusion, or is it that's his job? That's his script role in all this, is to be that chaos agent. That guy that just keeps the focus of his.
Yes, okay. I mean, yes, he definitely sees himself as a quote unquote disruptor. You know, that's what all these move fast, break stuff, tech billionaires believe. They see themselves as disruptors. But And of course, you know, race always like is used and mobilized by the capitalist class to like divide everybody. And he's, you know, so that's always like a tried and true thing. But he's also just a really big fan of apartheid South Africa. You know, so maybe it's just straight up, you know, maybe this level of racism is self-destructive and cartoonish, but I'm just so deeply racist that I don't really care. But the bottom line, I think, is that all these like right-wing people who are like waging this online culture war, they say like kept saying things like "go woke, go broke," and I'm just like, what do you mean? This movie's like blowing out the box office because nobody cares about what you care. The thing that I really like about this subject, and this is why I'm going to do a whole series for this podcast, developing like this idea about how alternate realities are ideological battlegrounds that really only exist on like chronically online communities. So like there's this weird alternate universe called Warhammer 40K. It's came out of you know, it's like this techno gothic sci-fi war game. In the future, Amazon and Henry Cavill are making a series about it, so it's about to hit the mainstream. It used to only it's like takes place in this dystopian future 400 or like 40,000 years from now. And it has been like the front line of all these ideological battles. And like, you know, because like there's been more female representation. All these dudes have been melting down, calling it woke hammer. And like go broke, go woke, but also it's Games Workshop is more profitable than it's ever been. It is bigger for this one nerd franchise that like nobody really knows about, has a bigger GDP contribution than the entire UK fishing industry, which is an island fucking nation. So I just want to put out that all this like right-wing like I haven't met a lot of those people in real life. I just haven't. So when you talk about it being an op, like whether or not it's like organic or like guided by
it's not organic. It's not organic. It's not organic. I'm telling you, like I'm looking at this shit. The algorithm, the ratio of likes and the content is so disproportionate, and it's so like there's no way the algorithm is not pushing this. I would have like if I were to say anything that spicy about how much I support Palestinian resistance, my fucking shit would be so like shadow banned.
It already is. Fucking,
it is, dude. We're so shadow banned. It's terrible. Like it's bad. But no, I'm seeing so much of it. Like, look at this shit. This is what's coming across my page.
Okay, we're gonna have to deal with Mark's shitty internet. Stand by, everybody.
Things in a magical way. Because when you deport people, they're no longer utilizing infrastructure. They're no longer driving cars. They're no longer consuming school places. They're no longer consuming healthcare. So actually, when you do mass deportations, all these things become tangibly better and more abundant, as if you waved a magic wand. So it's actually a really good use of funding. The problem solves itself.
That doesn't make sense, brother.
In what way?
Because in order to fund a project on a national level, you need a pool of people to collect taxes from.
What do you mean fund?
And
so to clarify, for example, when you deport an illegal family, when you deport an undocumented family, their home is pre-built. You don't need to fund that. The home is already there.
Okay, first question.
Yeah, a lot. And I put my comment there.
Okay, well, question before we get to the comment. What the fuck is that haircut? Yeah. It's just like, I want to look like a blackened thumb.
That guy, that kid is popping up on my For You page. All of these other fucking young Gen Z racist white supremacists are just popping up, and they're introducing these pseudo intellectual conversations. And notice who they're not mentioning. This is where parents or people who know Gen Z, if we can start telling Gen Z, hey, pay attention to what they're not saying. They are not pointing any blame at the fact that kids were trafficked to a fucking island. They're not pointing to the fact that Blackstone owns almost half of family residential homes. There's 26 million homes on the market that are vacant. And some of them they're not selling. We have well over a million people who are unhoused. Point to that shit. They will. So in order to detect an op, here's how you can tell. Look for who they're not pointing the blame to. Okay, if you're racist, okay, you're racist. You're personally racist. You're a fucking ignorant dumbass. Okay, But if you are avoiding talking about other enemies like the Epstein class, there's your clue that it's a fucking op. He is being paid to divert attention towards immigrants, black people, whatever boogeyman is out there, so that nobody talks about the fuckers on Wall Street. And that's how you know who's paying them. So I don't need a paper trail telling me that that fucking guy is a paid op to know, to use circumstantial evidence to know that he's fucking being paid by what he's not saying. There's my soapbox.
I mean, look, I think this was what's interesting about the Palestine issue, because like Nour, you may recall when this stuff was still blowing up, and a lot of this talk has disappeared over the past couple of years. Like, no, like literally the Israeli Ministry of Diaspora Affairs was literally paying people straight up per post.
$7,000 per post. Yeah. You know, it is kind of overwhelming that online. Here's the thing, this divisiveness and this, you have to be extreme to cut through the noise online. So these Gen Z, that's why he was on your For You page, because the more extreme you are, the more likely you're going to be able to cut through all the other videos and have people watch you. And it's just, I have a joke where I say, if you don't want immigrants in your country, then you can't use anything we've invented. Like, that's my rule, you know? So if like that guy from Texas, he doesn't want Latina power, like, okay, you can't have tacos. Okay. Immigrants have made everything that's amazing, right? Like hummus, yoga, guacamole, right? Everything that gives white women a personality. That's us.
I fucking love it when we take digs at.
Yeah.
Oh, the white liberal woman. She is the gift that keeps on giving, isn't she?
Oh my dude, I just it's like a guilty pleasure of mine when people go after white liberal women, because like when they try to constantly escape the white supremacy here, when they try to say, like, the first comment I think was white male privilege. Now the male part, when that came out, I'm like, funny. Seems to me like you were benefiting too. Seems to me like this is the Titanic. White supremacy is the Titanic, and you're trying to jump off. You're trying to be what's her name in the Titanic? Like
Rose.
That's right.
Yeah.
And we're Jack. The white men are Jack, and she's like, I gotta let you go so she can just escape the white. Like, get the fuck out of here. Like, they have been propping up the white supremacist patriarchy more than anybody else.
Yes, white women will always choose their race over their gender, and that's why when that video you played, it's like this guy is being directly racist. But at least with white men, what you see is what you get. Usually, sometimes it's not, but with white women, it can be so like sinister and underhanded, and they can portray one image to the world, but actually, like you said, like, what is it? Like more than 40% of white women voted for Trump, right? The first time around.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's the thing, like when it comes to any future revolution, I just don't think we can count on the white women. They will choose complacency, they will choose their comfort and their closeness to white power that will protect them, but they don't realize that it won't. Like, if you just look at TV, like what's that TV show, the Handmaid's Tale? These white men are going to fuck you up too. You're going to be treated a little better, but not for long. You're going to be part of a breeding program for white power.
And mind you, like, oftentimes trauma induced from patriarchy creates a Stockholm syndrome where you you almost develop a fetish for your abuser, and you will abuse others in the same manner as them, but in a kinder and more soft-spoken way, which is why I see liberals as more dangerous than fascists. And I'll tell you why. If I see a fascist coming at me with a knife, right, and he's obviously a fascist, he has a big old fucking sign on his face, I'm a fascist, I'm gonna fucking kill you, I'll take that. Like, come at me, I know who you are, I can see you coming from a mile away, great. But the liberal is the one who just has that knife behind their back, and they're like, hey man, we're gonna fight this fascist coming at you, and then slips that knife right underneath your back. That's just what Malcolm X said, and he called it.
That's Bill Maher. That's exactly what we opened the episode on. Yeah. My vote is up for grabs. I'll vote for fascism.
Liberalism is the girlfriend of fascism. She's
1000%. Liberalism is, I think, a way literally to pacify, like, it's to make imperialism more palatable domestically. So if I'm a liberal and I get all these it's like, what do I care what's happening with my tax dollars if I, save money this month?
That's a good point. Liberalism, it's the one that defines civilization and civility for the fascists. So the liberals define civility. For example, and Tel Aviv is a great example of liberalism. By the way, now you go to Tel Aviv. What do you see? Really advanced technology, really modern buildings. You have LGBTQ bars and cafes and nightclubs. You have all kinds of social
museums.
It's the subcultures, the creative liberal subcultures of Tel Aviv. You go up to one of these liberal Zionists, these liberal Israelis, and say, "Hey, what do you think about Palestinians?" First of all, it's like, "Oh, you mean the Arabs?" Yeah, I mean, I just think that in order for us to move on as a society, we have to get rid of these barbaric people, because in their minds, barbarism means you plant your own food in your own garden in an organic way. Barbarism means that you live in a town that maybe doesn't have an advanced hotel, but it has a community mindset, an indigenous touch with the earth. So in my opinion, liberalism is the cultural destruction of indigeneity. Because
I agree with that.
But we're spitting bars tonight. I mean, this morning.
No, and do you know why I know that so truthfully? Because I was born and raised in Jordan, which the West looks down on, the entire Middle East, regardless of where you're from. And I had absorbed that too. When you're young and you're a teenager and you watch movies and you consume music from the West, you think, oh, they're so enlightened. They're so cool. They have all this technology. Look what they allowed to happen. And then having lived 20 years in the West and 17 in Jordan, it's like what you gain here kills your soul. Like whatever, it's like the community I had, and like you said, the indigeneity and being connected to your land, your family, your community is seen as barbaric. It's seen as less than. It's seen as primitive. Here, we're educated. We have Harvard. We're going to the moon. We have, all these NBA players and media and movies and music and TV. What do they have? They have nothing, but it's like they sold the lie and then they started believing it themselves. That's why everyone's depressed. Everyone's on antidepressants. No one is happy. No one can afford anything. And it's like this myth is actually being broken down in real time in front of our eyes.
And liberals are the perfect delivery for that lie, because it's wrapped up in what? Compassion or progress or
both sides,
modernization,
everybody
getting away from the old barbaric ways of the past. Why are we using plants to heal our bodies? You go to the doctor and you get a petrochemical pill. That's the new way. That's the progress. That's how it's delivered.
And my depression disappears when I go back home, when I'm just around my family and a human life is worth more than $1 back home. Like, I am loved for simply existing, not because of my job, not because of what I've accomplished, not because of how much money I have. And that like capitalist structure has not fully like embedded itself in people's hearts, if you will,
And that is the ultimate reason why they're trying to exterminate the Palestinians. Yes, it's the land. Don't get me wrong. They're trying to get the land. They're trying to get the resources. But more important than all of that, the reason why indigenous cultures are the #1 target of empire, it's not just the land. It is the mentality that indigenous cultures have that is a danger to all of the empire's hegemony if it spreads to non-indigenous people. So if white boys like me, who happen to go to Palestine when they're an evangelical Zionist, and I'm in a village in the West Bank, and I'm like, I like this. In fact, I like this better than my culture. They don't want that, because then I might take that mentality back to my country, which I did, and become this person who's pushing for an anti-capitalist back to indigenous roots, land back, indigenous sovereignty thing. They're scared of that more than they want that land itself. So
1000%.
100%. And, they almost say it openly because, they're waging an ideological war and they need bodies. They need bodies. So this is a stitch that Monty Mader made real quick.
The left, we're going to just outbreed them.
This is Benny Johnson speaking at CPAC. So let's go back. Let's go back.
Because the left, we're going to just outbreed them. Can I get a witness? Can I get an amen? We're just going to outbreed the left. You ever met a lib? They're hideous.
This has been going on for a long time. When I was 10 years old, I remember sitting in church, and from the pulpit, my pastor said to all the girls in the church, said, your purpose is to marry a man and serve your husband and have as many children as possible so that Christians can outbreed non-Christians and take back the nation.
We will not be replaced. So this is kind of like what we're kind of up against, y'all. And the fact that, liberals will not even really address this at all.
Do you know what they don't, what Israel will never get? They will never get the surrender of the Palestinian people. They have done so much to break them, and the Palestinian people have not been broken. They have not said, yes, okay, you do with us what you can. They still have dignity and strength and resilience. And that comes from their indigenous culture, like you said, Mark. And they can't, that's why they keep giving more force. They're like, more, because it's not working. And it will never work because Zionism is a settler colony draped in a religion. And there is nothing beautiful about it. It just takes and it breeds hate and violence. That's all it is. It's based on violence. And the Palestinian way of life is rooted in land and love, and they will never break it.
No, and I will say this: I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the fact that Muslim Palestinians, every word of the Quran, every word of Jesus is a strict commandment that they have to follow every waking day. They are very anti-capitalist Muslims, and I've met Muslims from around the world. I've intermingled. I've picked their brain for what their belief system is. And I'll tell you this, Muslim Palestinians, they're very anti-capitalist Muslims, which all Muslims should be anti-capitalist because it's a foundation of Islam. Like capitalism is haram. It's haram. But
I think about it all the time. How much better would our lives be if we all donated like 5% of our wealth and we didn't like fuck with interest or loans or anything like that? And like how much better would the world be? Yes.
Well,
I mean,
a lot better, but
that also explains
and that's why Greg and Mark are converting to Islam. Yeah! Welcome Jamal Stoker and Mahmoud Wayne, colonial L outcasts.
Hell yeah!
Wow, we just got honorary.
The problem is,
names.
Greg and
Holy
I,
shit.
we are so steeped in vices that we would not insult the religion by reverting to it because we would be the worst Muslims when it comes to our vices.
I lived in a Muslim neighborhood in India and other places. You think they don't do the same shit? Okay,
true.
It's
Good
fine.
Point. Touche.
Okay,
Touche.
But being anti-capitalist would be nice. So
anytime a Muslim tries to or proposes I take the Shahada, I always see it as a gesture of love. That's the beautiful thing about no, it's the beautiful thing. It shows like when a Muslim asks you, hey, you should think about reverting. It is such a gesture of love that people don't understand. It means that they see you as a person who will lead humanity into liberation. So anytime a Muslim wants me to revert, I say, you know what? I love you for wanting me to revert. Like I see that as love, because true. And I've always said this, Muslims are better Christians they're more of a Christian than Christians are, because whereas Christians use Christianity
on the whole,
as a culture.
Yeah.
Did you guys see that TikTok series of the girl who would call churches asking for baby formula, and she called 17 churches and they all said no, and she called one mosque or two and both mosques said yes, and we will bring the baby formula to you, you stay at home.
Yep. There you go.
I mean,
literally doing what Jesus said to do. Like, holy crap. Like, that's the thing. people don't understand that when like Jesus's teachings to Muslims, those are non-negotiable things that you live on a daily basis because he's a revered prophet. And I don't see Christians doing the same shit. So what's interesting
I don't see liberals doing the same shit.
No.
And sorry, I got a hard out, so I got to bring it full circle to that.
And you got a campaign meeting?
No, I don't.
Wait, one last thing. I just want to say I really love how when the Pope, before he died, he clocked JD Vance and was like, "Can you stop with this war and all this bullshit that you're doing?" Do you remember when JD killed the Pope?
Yeah.
Hit him with that poison, that little ricin poison. Oh, by the way, real quick. Did y'all know that the data centers they're fighting back? So the data centers are now, they have their own online Gen Z army justifying them. Check this out. Greg, you're gonna fucking crawl in your skin. Watch this. It's coming.
AI data centers are not going to hurt you or the farmland. In fact, they're a good thing. First of all, we're talking about maybe 1 million acres of farmland for data centers needed to power the AI that you're using every day, from your smartphone to your apps to your refrigerator. And that's okay, because we have something like 875 million acres of farmland in the United States. They are trying to sell you the same lie they used with fracking. Remember when they swore that fracking would poison all of our water and destroy everything? Well, it didn't, and we're fine. Now they're claiming that these data centers are going to swallow up our farmland and...
Bro, we literally, an hour away from me in the district that I'm running, we literally have sludge coming out of the waters in fucking Lampasas, Texas. But okay.
Drain our water supply. It's the same fear tactic, just 10 years later. Also, U.S. golf courses use 30 times more water every year than all of our data centers combined. And yes, we need to ensure that nothing's getting in the water, but they mostly evaporate clean water for cooling, like power plants have done for decades. But here, my friends, is why we're really going to need to build these puppies. Our enemies don't care about our farmland.
Okay, there's a lot
so
to
she goes
there.
on to talk about how we need to stay ahead because China will beat us. So the justification here is we're in an arms race, a data center arms race with China. And I left a comment. So I left a comment on that video. I said, okay, like everybody in the United States at this point wants the Chinese government to beat ours, because at least the Chinese government is not trafficking children and cannibalizing them. Like, people don't understand. Like, this is such a detached viewpoint. Americans are not threatened by China. Nobody gives a shit about China. We're not scared of China. We don't see it as an enemy. At this point, we are terrified.
Especially Gen Z.
Especially Gen Z. So this is another attempt to try and infiltrate the Gen Z culture with this fucking paid slop. Because obviously Fox News and CNN ain't going to reach Gen Z. So new tactics. So it's good to be aware of it.
Yes, we are in an existential information war for our own survival. And part of that information is like, we have more data centers here in Central Texas than the entirety of mainland China, just here in Texas. So like, dude, what are we even saying? But
dude, China is so smart with their data centers. They put a data center underwater so that the ocean cools it.
It's still not great, but it's better than alternatives. So, anyways, I got to split because I got to get this thing uploaded and I got other stuff to do. And yeah, guys, thanks so much for listening about Bill Maher and connecting all the dots between just abject shit liberty and how it works directly with fascist idiots. So
I want to hear more about, man. Can you just bounce so I can hear about Nour's story about Jordan? I want to hear more about Jordan. I miss Jordan.
What, do you have an out?
Do I have an out?
Yeah, you. Nour.
Oh, no, I'm fine. I have a film at 7, but that's about it.
I'll hold you for just 10 more minutes, Nour.
Right,
sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
10 more minutes. Remember, we got to get this uploaded. So I will be bouncing. Hey, guys, remember, yeah, I was going to do plugs. But we're not doing plugs.
Don't forget the first issue in 46 years of the Black Panther newspaper is out. Print only. Yeah. And Greg and I have our own article in there somewhere.
Stop.
It's more like a tiny column.
That's really amazing though.
It is amazing because this is an eight month project that had so many setbacks. And it finally, the Panthers were like, we got to launch this thing. So we put all the guns to it, and the Black Panthers got it out there, got the first issue, come hell or high water. And because I got promoted to general of propaganda for the Panther Party, which is the comrade party to the Black Panther Party, Greg and I were able to slip in our little call to action to veterans who are such bitches for not standing up against empire.
Bitches.
Dude, I'm going to go off on veterans next
Okay,
episode.
well, maybe not. Maybe not on this episode, but we will in the future. Okay, 10 minutes, then we got to upload. And then I will see you guys next Monday where we're talking about Argentina, Javier Milei's amazing reasonable haircut, and his libertarian suicidal policies, and why like Zionists are burning down Patagonia to like steal the land. Yeah, it's a lot of stuff going down in Argentina. It's fucked. But at least we gave them $40 billion to prop up their economy, so it can be a safe haven for the
because capitalism works. That's
Yeah.
why. Capitalism works so well that you have to bail it out every now and then.
Okay. Well, with that, bye. Thanks so much.
Bye, Greg. Thank you for having me on your show.
Yeah, great to have you. Okay, leaving.